Hello everyone, very good morning to you all. Charles here, Frgnt Daily Chart Analysis. The time is just approaching 8 a.m. local time here in Milan. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. We have some very clear, firm favourites for the day today, and that is essentially based on the fact that the DXY looks evidently clear, in my opinion. I won't go in too much depth. It's just a video to let you guys know I'm very much so still on the charts. A couple of holidays that, of course, those of you that were receiving charts daily were thinking that perhaps I've fallen off the face of the earth, but absolutely not. Very much so still here. Currently in a short position, US dollar CAD, that has been moved to break even, but I have every expectation that that will be taken out break even. And based on my analysis on pairs such as UJ and also GU, I have every thought process that that US dollar CAD position could well be taken out break even. No immediate entries for me on that pair. As you guys all know, I'm predominantly a London set or post-London session trader, but as a result of getting to the charts slightly earlier than desired over the next couple of weeks, potentially months, depending on the performance, I will more than likely be entering positions in the latter stages of Asia, as well as trading through the London into the New York session. So that may well be something that you'll be seeing of late. A couple of days ago, or last week rather, I took a GU short position as well, just in the latter stages of Asia closing. That played out to be quite a nice position for the day. So thus far, trading those later stages of Asia is providing the liquidity and getting a lot of benefit out of doing so. But just to quickly run through the favorites of the day, so that's US dollar CAD potential shorts could well see a potential re-entry from this area. In London Open, we'll see how the cookie crumbles. With that, we have that session high, that price of course breaking structures to the downside. So of course, if price then leaves with an order block up at those highs alongside the session high, alongside rejection of that 4-hour 50 MA, then that is a position that I might well consider re-entering today. Failing that, then I'll be looking for my higher time frame directional position based on up at those highs. Entry criteria up at those highs as well. If you can work it out, congratulations. If not, then you'll have to find a way how to understand that type of entry criteria. So we've got that US dollar CAD potential shorts of the day. DXY, well, we can understand why we are looking for shorts from the area. The DXY is, of course, printing lower lows and lower highs on that 4-hour time frame, also coming out of that daily order block towards the downside. Caveat to that is, of course, we are very much so bullish with no higher time frame points of interest on the weekly time frame. That's really indicating shorts, and in actual fact, higher time frame, I am DXY bullish. So it is a bit of a conflict there. So if it's not this area to hold, potentially this higher time frame 4-hour order block right up at the highs that caused the most recent evident low in the market. Failing this intraday area, we'll be looking for a short position potentially out of that area as well. Alongside that, GBP US dollar, I do like the long position. It looks very nice indeed based on the range we have coming back into a higher time frame daily order block, where of course I am expecting price to move short out of. Therefore, I must understand, am I genuinely trading a good position, taking a long position back into that daily order block? With that said, I'm supported long by way of the liquidity below the daily and the 4-hour, as well as that weekly 50 MA. So there's all the reason to look for a long position from that area, particularly because the 4-hour time frame has developed very nicely indeed, and I'll be trading alongside that 4-hour time frame towards the upside. So I'll be looking for my entry criteria for a potential long position there on GBP US dollar as well. EU, I'm probably going to skip that. For me, EU is a bit of a range, and as I always say, I don't mind trading a range, but more often than not, I'll only look to speculate on a range when there's nothing really available across my primary and secondary pairs. So at the moment, because I do have some good opportunities across my primary pairs, I don't really feel that there's any real need to get involved in a range. But with that said, I still have my setup there available that I'll be looking to take if nothing else materializes for the day. But at the moment, it is very much so a red pair for me today. EU, no real need to get involved in that. UJ, it's a bit of a nearly pair for me. I do like it. However, using the DXY, I'll be needing to have that confluence come out of that high area for me to look for a short. And of course, I've got my entry criteria there up at those highs that I'll be looking to rely upon. Again, if you understand it, congratulations. It's a very good entry criteria if you have the patience and discipline to wait for it. Failing that, just understand more often than not you are going to be taking what I perceive as an aggressive trade against intraday perspective and price action and structure, which of course comes with its associated risks. So that's UJ. AU, just touch on that slightly as well, looking for a potential long position towards those highs on AU. Currently, we do not have the 4-hour 50-MA on side, so at the moment it is just a target. So this anticipated risk to reward tool is as a result of expecting or hoping that my strategy at some point will work against me in the immediacy to then provide me with the confluence long term. So I do wish to see a 4-hour candle close above that 4-hour 50 EMA, have the return come back and look for the wick rejection to the high on the 4-hour time frame, which that developing on the 4-hour will simply be those lower time frames breaking structures towards the upside, lower time frame break of structure in addition to that, and I'll look for potential long position now on AU. I don't mind AU. And then with that said, we've got AU, UJ, GU and UCAD that we're currently in on UCAD. So to be honest, there's no reason for me to even go over GCAD and GJ because my primary pairs are very much so performing at the moment. So I hope that little 6-minute breakdown has whet your appetite somewhat for the day to give you that push to trade with some discipline, trade with some confluence, and that in itself will allow you to trade with confidence. And that's sort of my key phrase that I like to emphasize. There's nothing like investing with confidence. Not only do you know what you're doing, you have a set plan in all scenarios, all criterias are met, and then it's simple. Just trade with confidence, and it is what it is. And something that I mentioned this morning on the live call is if you're able to await that, trading becomes probably one of the most easiest professions that you can master. It's not just about having price going to your points of interest and selling trades. It's about awaiting your entry criteria. There are two elements to becoming a successful trader. Of course, you must be able to analyze the chart and develop a good forecast for behavior, what we expect price action to do. But that's just one element. That's 50% in my opinion. You must then rely on your trading elements, i.e. breaks of structure, i.e. patience and discipline, i.e. using, for example, the DXY as your highest degree of confluence, particularly if you're trading those cross pairs that I do. So if the DXY is performing, I then want to look at my cross pair to see, is the dollar weak or strong? Does it make sense if the dollar is looking weak for me to then take, let's say, a GU short position? It may not make sense. I want to be using all the confluence that I have in hand to take a good position. And just in addition to that, something I mentioned today is there's nothing wrong with taking a great trade that loses. There's nothing wrong with taking a good trade that loses, but that's the important. We don't want to take bad trades that potentially win or even bad trades that then lose. The journal is not going to thank you for that, but what your journal will thank you for is a consistent approach, taking positions that make sense all of the time. And as I said, a good position, even if it loses, is still a good position and a position that you should continue to execute and let your probabilities play out in favor for you, because we must understand not every trade is going to be a winning trade, despite that trade being a good or a great trade. So I wish you all the very best for today, everyone. Take care and trade with some discipline, at least for today. Just give it a go. All the very best. Charles, you'll hear from me shortly.